Hello everyone, Fantoni, the Scar Ghost. So let's talk about the Oculus Mixed Reality Capture toolset. This is an interesting feature that Oculus offers to developers that can integrate this toolset inside their application so that later content creators can put the Oculus Quest on, run the application, and with just a laptop and OBS create a mixed reality video. So that video that mixes the real person with the virtual environment of the game, like we have seen in many games, especially Beat Saber, without any kind of other things. And it's very interesting that lately Live has created its own application that with iPhones you will be able to shoot mixed reality videos even without green screen. So if you build your application with this mixed reality capture toolset with Live app and just an iPhone, you can shoot a mixed reality video or whatever you want, or people playing your game or make cool stuff. Of course, the quality is still not the same of the ones that you obtain with green screen, but it's super easy to do that. They require no technical expertise, so it's very, very interesting. And today I want to show you how to integrate this MRC toolkit inside your Unity experience. Before entering into Unity and showing you how to integrate it both with the Oculus integration, with the XR Interaction Toolkit, and also with the URP, I want to warn you that I'm assuming in this video that you already know how to develop a Unity experience with the Oculus Plugin or with the XR Interaction Toolkit, so that you are at least a beginner in Unity and you are not from zero. And if you are from zero, so if you don't know how to create an experience, I will put you two links here in the description that shows you how to start creating an experience like a cube in Unity for the Oculus Quest. So you can follow those links, learn how to do stuff, and then return here and care about the Oculus Toolkit. This video is not even about how to create a video with the MRC or with the Live application. If you want to create videos with applications around the mixed reality capture toolset, I will leave you again one or two links here below so that you can pick two other cool tutorials that have been made on how to create a video with OBS and an application with MRC. I don't tell all the things also in the video, otherwise this video will become like 1 hour and a half long, probably it will be too boring. So I'll just show you how to integrate as a developer this toolset in your application so that other people can make videos out of it. And I think that will be very interesting for you the same, because these things are not very well documented online, I think. So let's dig into it. So here I am inside Unity. This is a project I created called MrcXRT Test. I'm in Unity 2019, but that's my choice for the moment. It's not important. I'm already in Android, so that you can build for the Oculus Quest. Then let me show you that I've integrated XR plugin management and already selected Oculus for both PC standalone and Android. What else? I've also integrated already, as you can see in the package manager, the XR Interaction Toolkit. So I already added the XR Interaction Toolkit so that I can show how to use it. So this is the status of the project. And there is another thing that we have to do now is import the Oculus plugin. And this is necessary because it is where the MRC has been put by Facebook. So we go on the asset store, we look for Oculus, I always look for Oculus. So it's there, I've used it 1 bazillion times, import, and then we do the import. If there is a dialog asking you if update something and reboot Unity, you say yes, okay, upgrade, blah, blah, blah. And then when everything will be ready, we can actually use the plugin. So actually, before doing everything, this is what the Oculus plugin is made of. And Unity, of course, wants to import everything of this. But if you don't need this stuff, please deselect everything and just leave the VR folder. This way you avoid importing hundreds of megabytes and have longer build times, longer, bigger APK, whatever. Just take the VR folder. This is the only necessary one for what we're going to do. So let's hit import. And as I said, there will be a dialog asking me to update everything. I will just do it and then we'll return back with it. Okay, we're back. And if we open the Oculus VR scenes folder, we see that there is a scene called MRC. And it's a sample scene for the mixed reality capture. I think probably is the best documentation that you can have about it. My piece of advice as first thing to do in your project is to build this scene and to test it. I say this because I have just wasted 3 hours today trying to understand a problem that I was having because this thing was not working. And the fact is that the calibration was not being saved well by my device. So what we have to do is to build this scene, verify that it works inside OBS. If it works, we can go on and create our own scene. If it doesn't work, you have to recalibrate your mixed reality capture. And you do this with a mixed reality capture application here on the PC and on the headset. So let's just make a quick test now to verify that it works. And you realize that it works if the images are coherent. And if not, you recalibrate. If yes, we're gone. So let me just build and run and do the usual stuff and put this on my device. So here we are in OBS. If you are used to MRC, you will recognize this setup. Let's connect with a Quest. Of course, here there is always some window that is not the right size, but that's part of the game. And let's resize that. Okay, so we can see from here that, for instance, things are not working. As you can see, I should see some virtual controllers here, whereas the Realme. So let's try, I will try to recalibrate and make it work. So I have not done anything to the application. I've just recalibrated the Quest, re-exported the scenes, and re-imported them inside OBS as the procedure. So let's try now to connect to the game. Let's resize these two things. And you can see it's perfect. So I wasted some hours trying to understand if the problem could be Unity, but actually it's just this calibration stuff that sometimes breaks when you leave the headset to rest a bit. So here I have a mixed reality video. Of course, I have not a green screen here at home, so that's why you see a bit of my surroundings. But actually imagine that's just my body here, very opaque, and all around the real world disappears, and just the virtual elements. And as you can see on the left side, I can also put it on the right, everything is working. So now we're sure that we can do mixed reality. Let's try to do something with the scene of ours. We have just verified that everything works. Now let's dig into how to create your own scene using the official Unity plugin with mixed reality capture. But before I enter into it, I want to say that I forgot to say a little detail before. Of course, you have to select the MRC scene into the scenes to build before building. If you hit build and run without doing this, of course, the build will have no sense. So now we have this MRC scene, and we have to create a new one starting from the sample scene. The Unity creates in assets, scenes, sample scene. So double click on it. There is a camera and direction light. To avoid the same error as before, add it to the build scene and remove MRC. So now in the scenes to build, there is the sample scene. So let's see how to transform it into your MRC controlled scene. And what we have to do, of course, to use the original Oculus plugin is substitute the main camera with an OVR camera rig and just put the tracking origin as stage. Stage is like floor, but with the difference that even if you recenter the headset, the reference system remains always the same. So it's more stable, there is more stable connection between the physical and virtual environment. And then just to show you what's going on or how the calibration is going, let's add some VR controller prefab as children of the controller anchor. So this is a left touch, right one, controller prefab, and it's a right touch. This is just to show the controllers in hands. And then let's add an environment. So I will steal it from the MRC scene. So let me just grab this environment because I'm lazy. So I keep this environment, I raise it a bit so that its floor is on the origin of Unity. I don't know if you can say it, now it's all coherent. And then if you want, you can add some, some further objects to this environment so that to make it a bit different, I don't know, a sphere here or whatever. After we have done this, basically we just check that in the OVR manager, Mixed Reality Capture for Quest Experimental is set to automatic and not disabled. And that's it. Basically, we've done nothing because if you are building your own scene in Oculus Plugin, you already have an OVR camera rig, you already have an environment, lighting, whatever. So I've just checked that the OVR Manager has this Mixed Reality Capture for Quest set as automatic. All the rest is standard stuff you develop with the Oculus plugin. Oculus has made a great job in making Mixed Reality Capture available out of the box for all the applications. So just check that it is activated, build and run, and we can see that it works. So let's make a test, build and run. Let's see on OBS. We are inside OBS again. So let's reconnect. Okay. So you see that probably you can see that it's different from before because there are not bright things around me. And so again, I have my controllers, it's all synchronized with the environment. So if I touch something here, you can see also me touching something in the real world. Probably I'm not in the best setup to show it to you. But anyway, you can see that if I move behind there and I go here towards the other, everything is coherent with the environment. So everything worked, and we have implemented ourselves the mixed reality capture in an Oculus application. We just did a project with a standard official Oculus plugin. It was super easy. But let's see how to do this with Unity XR Interaction Toolkit. That is slightly more difficult, but once you understand how to do it, it's super easy. So first of all, let's add to this repository of mine. I can put a link in the description of the video. I just made this facility to make life super easy for you. So you go to this MrcXrtHelpers repo. You go in the latest release on the right here. So let's click on this first version. You download the Unity package. There are also the source codes if you want to modify them. Save it on disk, and that's it. Now, first things first, let's import the package, and then we'll see how to use it. So let's import the package, use a prefab and some scripts, and we'll create a folder called MrcHelpers in your project. You can move it wherever you want. Cool. So now let's create a standard XR toolkit scene. So let's remove the camera rig. Let's keep the environment. Let's add an XR room scale XR rig. Then let's add XR locomotion system, because I also want to make you see what happens when I move inside the scene. So device-based locomotion system, but I don't want teleportation snap turn. I want to puke, so let me add some continuous locomotion, continuous move provider, device-based. I still use device-based stuff. It's just because I still use Unity 2019, and the best way to have cross-platform also with SteamVR at the moment. But as soon as there will be the full switch to OpenXR, I will change everything. So I also add the continuous turn. So all these operations not necessary for the MRC. I'm just doing them to create a meaningful demo. So let's add the locomotion system to both of them. And then it's important also to add the controllers to the controllers field here. So no, this is action based. Is wrong. So continuous turn, device based. Okay. So the controllers left to move and right to rotate. So just drag them from here to here and it's okay. So I have the locomotion, so let me just make other things. Let's make the ray of the left hand blue, just so that we can recognize better it in the video. Okay. And then let me add a cube here as child of the left hand and a sphere as child of the right hand. So all these operations I've done until now are just to showcase something. Also the environment I kept the previous one. So basically now we are in a situation where you can be with your VR project. So you have an XR Toolkit scene, XR rig, blah, blah, blah. The XR rig, just to make things clear, can also be child of another object if you have some kind of special calibration or whatever stuff. So let's put it as child of another object and we are okay. So this is the sample scene, how to add the MRC to it. So take the MrcXrtHelpers folders of my plugin, take this prefab, down. And basically you have implemented it. So that's why I created this plugin, so you can just put a prefab and you're fine with it. Just to explain what does this prefab, it's very easy actually. It adds an OVR manager. So remember that even to use XR Interaction Toolkit, you have to import the official Oculus plugin, the VR folder of that plugin. There is the activation mode automatic. I've already put like in original stage. You can change it if you want. It's fundamental for you. Copy transform, you have to assign it. Okay, actually I forgot this detail. It's not done by just putting the prefab in the scene. You have to put this XR rig and drag it into the original transform field of this OVR manager object. So sorry if I even forgot it. It's very important. If you don't do it, without locomotion things work, with locomotion things may not work. So what does the copy transform make? Basically, it moves this OVR manager so it is always in the same position and rotation of the XR rig. This is fundamental because the MRC adds the cameras that are responsible to grab the point of view of your physical camera as children of the VR manager. So if the VR manager doesn't follow the XR rig and you have locomotion in your game, like I just implemented, smooth locomotion for instance, what happens is that your virtual camera stays fixed in the position of the VR manager while the virtual you moves away. But actually, physically, if I'm moving with smooth locomotion, I'm fixed here in physical position. The camera is there fixed in the physical position. I'm not moving. So actually, the relationship between the virtual camera and the virtual me should remain the same because I'm not physically moving against the camera. So the camera should move with the virtual me. Not move with the physical me if I do room scale, but move with the virtual me if I use teleportation or smooth locomotion. So the virtual cameras keep the same relationship with the virtual body as the real camera with the real body. To do this, we just copy the transform of the XR rig. If you don't want to do this, you say, why can't I just add the VR manager as child of the XR rig? I say, okay, yes, you can, of course. So you can add a VR manager as object here, and don't use this prefab if you want. But even if you do this, you have to add this final script that I have here, this remove MR camera tracking, that is in the prefab. And in case you want to use your VR manager as already associated with XRRig, preferably also with the stage tracking origin type, you have to add the scripts also here. So the two possibilities are: one, you add this prefab and you just drag the XRRig in the copy transform, in this field of the copy transform, or you add an OVR manager to the same game object of the XRRig. You set tracking origin type as stage or floor as you prefer, and then you add the remove MR camera tracking script. But why this remove MR camera tracking script is so important is because when a VR manager creates these two cameras, when you use the XR toolkit, it may happen that Unity adds the tracked pose driver to this camera. Tracked pose driver makes sure that those cameras follow your head. But actually, you don't want these cameras to follow your head because they should be in the same position. They should be in the counterpart position of the real camera in a virtual world. So they should stay fixed and frame your image from the point of view of the physical camera. They shouldn't follow my head in first person point of view. So this is what the remove MR cameras does. It looks for the script and kills it. So now let me remove this OVR manager from here because actually I don't need it because I used it with the prefab. I dragged it correctly and we are done. Now I hit build and run. I build the application and I should be able to test it inside OBS. So let's see it. So we're now again inside OBS. Let's connect to our game. And that's it. Left hand Blu-ray and cube, right hand sphere and right ray. Like before, but now I can move. And you see that I'm moving in the virtual world, but I'm coherently with these two things in my hand because I'm not moving in the real world. So also the point of view of the virtual camera shouldn't change. So now you can follow me wherever I go. Ooh. Wherever I go inside this virtual environment, I can move like this. And so making videos becomes super easy. So we're done with this, but there are still some tricks I want to tell you. This is another project I created, and it is with the Universal Rendering Pipeline, the URP, that is very important if you're developing for Quest. Well, I have to tell you that if you use the method that I've just told you with the URP, nothing is going to work. Probably. It depends on what settings have you chosen. What you have to set if you're using MRC with the Universal Rendering Pipeline, both with the XR Interaction Toolkit and with Oculus, is to be sure that if you go to XR Plugin Management Oculus, you are set to multi-view. If you set this to multipass, nothing is going to work. You see like a weird isometric projection, many things disappearing, and you spend hours, days trying to understand what you did wrong. And you notice it also because the sample scene is not working anyway. So remember to set this to multi-view because with URP is the only way to make it work. Without URP, if you use a standard pipeline, you have seen that before, I have not changed it. So I just used the multipass and it was working. So multi-view is also better for performances, so it's a good idea in general. But in this case, it becomes fundamental. So let's set multi-view, and then you can do, as I said before, you can import a package, blah, 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 and everything should work. Inside OBS again, let's connect to our game, and let's see, URP is working. So we just is making the same thing as before. It is adding that prefab and connecting the script with XRRig. and selecting multi-view, now I have mixed reality inside my UR PC. I want to tell you about the final thing. So one cool thing about this SDK provided by Oculus is that I can have virtual objects in front of you or virtual objects behind me. This is not possible with some of the other solutions. So this is super cool, but can give you problems with transparent objects. So how this is made? Basically, you see these three layers in OBS, and if I remove them, I can show you that the background is just a unit application that is streaming from my headset. Sometimes there are network glitches, so that's why you see it stopping, but this is the plain unit application. Then there is the camera stream. And if I just keep these two, the objects are never in front of me. Then there is this foreground layer that is basically what the second camera, because when you create this MRC toolkit, I ran actually two cameras, one for the Unity scene and one that just renders the objects that are in front of you. And it detects if they're in front of you using the position of the headset. So in front of the headset, between the headset and the camera foreground, not between the headset and the camera background. So this is how it does. So what is the problem? The problem is that, as you can see, the foreground layer is just made by all black and the object. In the OVR manager, you can see there is a parameter. If you expand the mixed reality capture parameters, I say what is the background colors for the foreground camera. Usually it's green on PC and black on Quest. And why this can be a problem? Because if these objects are semi-transparent, on the Quest, on this video, on the mixed reality video, you see them becoming black. So if they're in front of you like this, so if I restore everything, so imagine these objects in front of you are semi-transparent, you don't see my face, you see black, because these are a separate layer, and since we're using forward rendering, they're just rendered as is, one shot on a black background. So my advice is to be very careful with transparent objects that can be on the foreground for mixed reality capture. What you can do is try to disabling the layers that have them. Let me show you something inside Unity. So this is where Unity is. Let's take the VR manager, and as I said, this mixed reality capture show properties. There is the background color for Quest, backdrop color target Quest, and for Reef. Then there are extra hidden layers and extra visible layers. So if in mixed reality you want to hide some layers, you add them here. If you want to add some special layers designed just for MRC, you add them here. So for instance, if you have some semi-transparent shields and you don't want them to be seen, you just put the layer of the shields in the hidden layer. So they don't get rendered in MRC, you don't see this weird black effect. Or maybe you want to show another version of the shield that is completely opaque, and so it can be on another layer that is shown only by the cameras of MRC. So this is how you can solve the problem. You won't never have a perfect result, but at least you can improve the situation. And I've noticed this issue when testing hit motion, and I can show you what is this bad result in this short video that is coming in. So you can see in this video here I'm making a fast test with hit motion and the plugin that I just shown you. You can see all these, that the enemies are black and there are all these black quads appearing from the gloves. These are all transparent objects, semi-transparent objects that so are rendered as big quads in the foreground. And of course the result is terrible, so that's why what we are going to do in the future is remove the layers of these objects from the MRC capture, so that to solve it. I think I said it all. As I've seen, if you know what to do and if you use also the little plugin that I created for you, it's all super easy to implement inside your project. So now start creating your application so that you can implement mixed reality capture and let people with a green screen or people with a live application create mixed reality video of your game. Of course, there is a little overhead in the cameras that provide mixed reality capture, but Oculus claims that this is not that big because they render only one every 2 frames. And also there are some kind of other optimization. And of course, if no OBS or whatever software is connected, I guess they won't render much of the environment. But anyway, it's cool because so content creators can create amazing content out of your game, and this is great for marketing, of course. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you liked it, please like and subscribe to my channel and let me know what software have you created, implemented this method. And I wish you a great day in AR and VR. Bye bye.